Hello, everyone. My name is Teresa Areheart, and today I wanted to share some strategies that you can share with our students as we are moving forward this year. I know you guys will be doing volunteering virtually, and so this may be a great way for you just to kind of reinforce the skills that their teachers will be doing in their classroom. So, as first graders, kindergartners, second graders, we are trying to build good reading habits in our students. And there's lots of good strategies that we as adult readers use and that we can teach to our children as we're reading with them and doing read alouds with them, or if the children are reading, making sure that they're practicing these strategies as we go. Some of the things you might do online with your kids are read alouds. For example, you might pick a book that you just really enjoy and you want to share that book with them. So as you're doing that, these are some strategies you can model and just reinforce for them. If the child is reading to you, you can do the same thing. You can just reinforce the strategies that we are talking about as building a good reading habits with the children's books that they have in their hand. So we're going to start with one that I really used this morning with some first graders and kindergartners as I went in and did a read aloud. We're going to start with taking a sneak peek at the beginning. When we choose a book as adults, I know one of the things that we like to do is we like to read the little insert inside of a chapter book or the back of the book to let us know what the book is about. If you're doing an audio book, you may even read the summary that they have, or you ask people their opinion about a book. What did you think about this book? So it gives you an idea of a book that you would like. Those are the ways that we tend to take a sneak peek. But for a child, we want to encourage them to take a sneak peek by looking at the cover of the book, looking at the picture that they see on the front of the book. For example, we see a big bear with a big bottom and all his animal friends sitting on his bottom. So I told my first graders this morning, I said, this book got me excited because the picture was just so fun. And then I read the title and it says Bear's Big Bottom. So then that made me even more interested in the book. So I turned it on the back and I read the blurb that was on the back where it says, oh no, Bear's big bottom is getting him into big trouble. Can he ever make it up to his friends? So I thought this ought to be a funny book, one that I would enjoy. I already knew I loved the illustrations. Another way we can take a part of our sneak peek is to just look inside and look at a few of the pictures. So we might look at the first couple of pictures and kind of get an idea of what's happening. I can see there's a squirrel. It looks like there's going to be a party. I see a poster for that. Then when I go inside, I see Bear and his friends. I see this seesaw and all of his friends are on one side, but what's going to happen when he gets there? Wow. And then we get into talking about predictions so that they can think about what might be happening in the story. So after they've looked at the cover, read the title, read the blurb on the back, they are going to have some ideas of what might happen in the book. And if they take a sneak peek on the first couple of pages, they're going to even have more ideas. So what we would want to do is the next strategy we would want to teach them is to check your sneak peek. So if I've already had my sneak peek at the beginning, I kind of have an idea what might be happening, then I'm going to check what I think might be happening by reading in my book. So when I look at this page, I think my prediction would be that the bear is going to get on the seesaw and all the animals are going to go flying. So as a reader, I want to read and I want to find out what's happening. So I start with Bear was friendly, Bear was sweet, the nicest bear you'd ever meet, with little paws and little feet, and a very big bare bottom. And if I check my sneak peek and what I was thinking, I see that what I was thinking is exactly what happened. And for the kids, you might model that by saying, let's do it together. Let's see if we both have the same idea that what was about to happen. So taking a sneak peek at the beginning and then going in the book and reading the first few pages to check to see if your thinking is correct is very important for a reader, because this starts to build confidence in the text, but it also lets them kind of start thinking about what's going to happen throughout the book. Because we know we don't just read a book and set it down. We should think about what's happened in the book. So that kind of goes to our next strategy. Do something at the end. When I'm reading a good book, and I get to that last page and I'm finished, if it's a really good book, I want to do something with that. I don't want to just forget about it. This summer, I have really gotten into audiobooks because when I go walking or driving, that's something I can do. And when I get to the end of the book, I'm kind of sad, but I'm also excited because now I get to tell somebody, oh, you need to read this book. So with our children, we want to encourage the same thing. We want them to think about, okay, well, what can I do with this book now that I'm finished with it? I can think about it and I can think, I wonder what could have happened next. Could the author have changed the book? Maybe there's another book in the series. Maybe I could go get that book and read that book. Or maybe they want to share their favorite part with someone. And you guys, as volunteers, you get to be that person they might want to share with. We can talk to them about when you're at home and you're reading a good book, make sure you share with someone. Make sure you talk to your mom or your dad or grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, whoever's at home with you during the day. You can tell me when we get back together as to have our partner time. At school, we love for the kids to have partners reading. Unfortunately, during this time of COVID, we've had to kind of make sure we have distance between our partners. So we still want to encourage them to talk to someone, though. So they might pick a stuffed animal. They might grab a stuffed animal at home and have a favorite doll or toy that they can tell about their favorite book or favorite part of the story, or if their predictions came true, or if they were upset about something that happened in the book or happy about something that happened in the book. So there's lots of ways for them to be able to do something at the end, not just put it down and forget about it, but to really think about what they read and share it with somebody. Because that's what we as adults like to do. We like to tell somebody, oh, go see that movie. It was really great. Read this book. It was awesome. And we usually tell them why. We don't just say it was good or great. We want to really get them talking about their books because that will help with their understanding. So after we've talked to them about these strategies, this is getting them ready to read, and this is what they might do at the end of their reading so that they just don't forget about it. So what we would do next is we would talk to them about reading more and more, because we want our children to not just read one book and be done. We really encourage them to read all kinds of books and try to find different genres that they enjoy, different types of characters, nonfiction, fiction. Just we really want to get them excited about books. So what we would do is encourage them to read more by building their stamina. So if I'm going to read 2 books today, then maybe tomorrow I'm going to read a 3rd book. And that's going to get into what we're going to talk about in a moment, setting goals. So make sure that we are just reading more, finding more and more books that we enjoy. They might try a book about a book of poetry, or a book about real animals, a nonfiction book that they've never read before. So just to encourage them to read more and a little bit more each day. If I read for 10 minutes today, tomorrow I want to read for 15. So when they're talking to you, encourage them to just read more and more. And as they're reading more and more, they can also keep track. Since we're going to be at home for part of our school and we're doing a lot of things virtually right now, one of the things I know our teachers will be doing is they will probably be sending some type of way to hold accountable how much time the children are reading. Because in class, we really do build that stamina. We really do try to stretch out how long they read and enjoy a good book. So at home, we want to continue to encourage that. And one way that we're going to do that is we're going to ask them to keep track of something. Maybe they have a reading log the teacher may give them. They might have a place, a platform online that they use to put in the types of books that they read. We might give them a notebook where they can just write down titles of the books that they've read. Maybe just a simple piece of paper that they want to keep at their house, and they might do quick tally marks each day. So today I read 3 books, so I'm going to put 3 tally marks. And tomorrow I might read 5, so then I'm going to add 5 to that. So now total I read 8 books over 2 days, but just keeping track of how many books and what kinds of books. Now, we don't want this to keep them shy from reading if they don't keep track, but we do encourage them because it lets them see how they're growing as a reader and how much they're enjoying being a reader. And if they're writing down the kinds of books that they read, that shows them the different genres that they're reading. And they might be able to talk to their friends about, oh, I love nonfiction because I have read all these nonfiction books. So just giving them a way to kind of keep track and just understand that the goal is just to read more and more. We want them to grow as readers because the one way they're going to grow as a reader is by reading every day. So after we talk to them about reading more and keeping track of what you read, we're also going to talk to them about setting goals. When we set goals, we are looking at the books that we have, and it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. We're looking at the books that we have and we're saying, okay, well, I have 5 books in my book basket or in my bag that I have at home or in my box that I have at home or in my classroom. And now I want to set a goal today. Yesterday, I read this book and it was a pretty easy book for me. So today, I don't think I'm going to read this book, but I am going to try this book again because it, again, was a little easier, but I liked it a lot and I want to read it again just for practice to help me keep my voice fluent and keep my reading smooth. So, but I also think I want to try one of these books today. I might even read both of them because they look like they would be fun. They're about animals, but they're not about real animals. They're about the lion and the mouse and the tortoise and the hare, and I think these are fables. So I think I'm going to read these 2. Now, they might be a little bit harder, so I think today that's going to be my goal, to read an easy book and 2 books that are just a little bit harder. But tomorrow, I'm going to try this book because I know that this is a book that is above where I've been reading, and I really want to start looking at the pictures and start thinking about what's happening in this book. So I'm going to try this book tomorrow. So what we're doing is we're setting goals, just like you would as a reader, just like you do in your work day or, for your home life. If you're at home and today I'm going to get this many chores done or this many things, done at my house, we're setting goals. And that's what we want our readers to learn how to do. Because by the time they get to our upper grades and our middle school and high school, they have to be able to know how to read more and keep track of it and set goals for themselves because they're not always going to have somebody there to say, you need to do this. And this is a life skill that they can carry over. Now, another one that we have is reread to smooth out your voice. Like when I was talking earlier and I just couldn't get my words smooth, that's what we want our kids to do when they're reading. So if I'm reading a book that's a little bit harder for me, I'm going to reread it several times till it becomes smooth and my voice is smooth. I don't want to read like a robot. Bella and Rosie were at the beach. I like the beach, said Bella. I don't want to read where I have long pauses. Bella and Rosie were at the beach. I like the beach. I want to read smoothly, just like I would talk to someone. Sometimes we stumble when we're talking. Sometimes we stumble when we read. And we want to go back and reread to smooth out that voice. Bella and Rosie were at the beach. I like the beach, said Bella. Me too, said Rosie. I like the beach too. So here we're showing them how it's important as readers to go back and reread. And when we reread, we can smooth out our voices so it sounds like we're talking to someone, and that's how we want it to sound as a reader. The next thing we have is we reread to see more. So we have a couple reasons that we reread. One is to smooth out our voice. The other is to see more in the book. Because if I read a book one time, then maybe I need to read it a second time to find out a little more information. So when we reread something, it gives us a chance to find out some new information or answer a question that maybe we had the first time we were reading it. I know myself, when I watch a movie the first time, a movie that I really enjoy, I'm going to watch it again. And it's so funny how every time you watch it, you might see something that maybe you didn't notice. Maybe I had gotten distracted and I didn't see a part, or maybe because I love mysteries and I love like suspense where you have to figure out what's happening. Maybe I missed a part that would have helped me figure out what's going to happen at the end. So rereading is important to a reader so that we can to confirm our thinking, but also to answer some questions that we may have had while we were reading that book. So rereading is also an important skill for them, not only to smooth out your voice, but to see more in the book, to find more, to look at the pictures a little bit deeper, to get in the text more deeply. So the last strategy we're going to talk about is scooping up words and phrases. So if you noticed when I was reading The Sandcastle, the first time I read kind of like a robot. And a lot of our kids start that way. They just read one word at a time. And what we're trying to teach them to do, that we have phrases that they can read, and that will make their voice more smoothly if they read in phrases. They don't have to read a whole sentence at one time. They can put 2 or 3 words together and make a phrase. And so as I'm phrasing, I'm scooping up those words together. So if I'm reading, I like the beach, said Bella, I scooped up those words and said, I like the beach, said Bella. And so you can see how they're reading by reading phrases instead of just word by word. And that is going to help them not only comprehend better, but to read smoothly. And so it has that purpose of helping with their comprehension, because if we have to read things choppy and we're not scooping up those words then in phrases, then our reading is not going to be as smooth as it should be. So these are all some great strategies for readers to build good habits. Just one more time, I'm going to go through them really quickly. We can take a sneak peek at the beginning. We can check our sneak peek. So if we were thinking something was going to happen, we're going to read a few pages and see if what we were thinking from our sneak peek was actually going to happen. We're confirming those predictions that we're making, or we're saying, oh, well, that's not what's happening, so I'm going to read a little bit more and find out what happened. Do something at the end. Don't just put the book down and never look at it again. Share it with somebody. You can share it with your favorite furry friend, whether it's a real one or a stuffed one. You can share it with a family member. You can share it with your teacher. And I hope they will be sharing lots of good books with you as you are mentoring them and working with them this year. Read more and more, read more and more, and keep track and set those goals. I read 3 books today, but tomorrow I'm going to read 4, and I'm going to try a tricky book, one that's a little bit harder, to see how I can do. And reread to smooth out your voice. Reread to see more. And scoop up those words and phrases. All of these are great strategies that we can use to build our good reading habits. And one of our goals this year for our children is to build those good reading habits. If we can start doing that when they're in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, wow, what wonderful readers they will be as they get older and they start working on finding that book that they just can't put down, or that series, like those chapter books that are Harry Potter or Among the Hidden, or any of those books that are just great books that they will enjoy reading. Judy Blume, I'm sure you have a special book that was really special to you when you were growing up. So we want our children to find those. And if we can help them build those good habits, then we can help them become the readers that they will be in the future. So, again, I want to just say how much I appreciate what you're doing and how you're helping our children. It is amazing to me how many of you volunteer your time, and we just appreciate you so much. So I hope to see you soon. I think we're going to have a Q&A at some point, and I look forward to talking with you and working with you this year. Thank you so much.